Alrighty, so we got Modestas Bukauskas versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. Okay, I think I got that correct, but yeah, making me work this time. So Modestas, he's definitely the bigger man. He's got a 3-inch height advantage, a 4-inch reach advantage. He's probably the pure light heavyweight, whereas I would say Oleksiejczuk could probably cut down to 185. He's very undersized for this weight class. But yeah. So for Oleksiejczuk, he is coming off 2 losses in a row after having a good start to his UFC career. But 3 losses in a row probably weighing on him a little bit. You never want to get 3 losses in a row in the UFC. But we'll break down the striking of these two guys, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so these guys are very different fighters. What's his name? Modestas. He has good lateral movement. He likes to stick and move, keep the footwork going, stay at range, come in, land something heavy and then exit range. And Michal, or Oleksiejczuk, he is a very fast starter. He comes out in southpaw and he looks to put that forward pressure on you and try to land those overhand lefts of his or those right hooks. And like particular techniques that these guys use. For Oleksiejczuk, he likes to battle hard for that outside foot versus orthodox opponents, because then that kind of opens up the straight right to the straight left to the body, but also the left overhand. So he fights pretty hard for that, and I'd say he'd be able to get it in this fight because Modestas doesn't really focus on that too much, more on his movement. For Modestas, his probably his go-to combination is the 1-2. I wouldn't say it's the fastest thing I've ever seen. He generally gets caught on the way in just because he likes to cover a lot of range when he opens up with his hands, and he kind of telegraphs his striking entries at times because he'll lead with a left hook that he doesn't really commit a lot of energy towards. But yeah, But yeah, I wouldn't say it's the fastest thing I've ever seen his boxing, but it worked on the regional scene, but it's kind of catching up to him now in the UFC. But when he does close the distance, he will get in the clinch. He's got some nice knees to the body in the clinch, and he can, move them up to the head. A few things that I think give these guys a lot of trouble in the stand-up. For Oleksiejczuk, he squares his stance quite frequently when he's advancing. If an opponent wanted to ever reactive double him, I think they could do it with a fair amount of ease. And he used a lot of head movement in the opening rounds that I believe isn't doing wonders for his cardio, because we have seen him slow down, but I just don't think he's bobbing and weaving pretty much at range. He's not, slipping anything. I get that it's disguising your striking entries, but your striking entries are fine as they are. They don't need the excessive head movement. That's just my opinion. It just seems like it's affecting his cardio a little bit. For Bukauskas, he has his hands low when he's throwing kicks. He can stay in range, and as Daniel Cormier would say, he can admire his work, so he'll land a 1-2, stay in range, and then just kind of get caught. I'm pretty sure that's how Jimmy Crute caught him. But also, he has a very wide stance, and he doesn't check leg kicks, and he's very heavy on that lead leg. But yeah, overall, I think Oleksiejczuk has the better stand-up, and he will have the speed advantage here, as he usually should, because he's a very small 205er. Alright, in the grappling department, for Modestas, he'll use some Travis Browne elbows to defend takedowns. His takedown defense isn't the best, but yeah, he'll throw some Travis Browne elbows pretty hard when his opponent's on his right hip. If you shoot on his left hip, he won't have that option, or he just doesn't go to it. And then once he does get taken down, he has a very loose guard. It gets easily stacked, and the opponent can get in the side mount very easily. Alright, so how these guys win their fights. So for Modestas, he has. I said he had bad takedown defense before, but I take this fight ages ago. So yeah, but apparently I've written down that he has decent takedown defense on the fence. Which, yeah, kind of explains how he gets those Travis Brown elbow opportunities, and he's got 2 KOs in his record from those elbows. So, yeah, obviously, he has decent takedown defense on the fence, but he can just let the opponent stall a little too much and just kind of, let the fight slip away from him. But in general, he has good movement. He's very agile for a light heavyweight. But, yeah. So for Oleksiejczuk, he has that heavy forward pressure, and he doesn't let off that forward pressure. So it was very good, and at its best in the Khalil Roundtree fight. Really took it to him after after absorbing a few big shots from Khalil. But also he works the body pretty well. He targets the body, and a few of these big guys who don't. They like to headhunt a little bit. It can catch them by surprise. So how these guys lose their fights? For Oleksiejczuk, I would say his size plays a lot into how he loses. Because in the Kroot fight, he was just getting ragdolled by Kroot, who isn't known for his wrestling, but he was just getting ragdolled, like just outmuscled really. And I'm a little unsure about his takedown defense as well. It seems pretty average. I just haven't seen enough footage of it to say it's, subpar or anything like that. But it doesn't seem that great to me. For Modestas, he can be controlled in top position once he does get down to the mat. And also it's the striking tendencies that we talked about before. Past the victory for these two. For Modestas, when Michal is closing the distance, look for that knee to the body as he's, closing the distance, or if he's looking to hit that torso. Because if you aim for the body, if he's, ducking down looking for a body shot, he might walk into a knee to the face, which would definitely put him off throwing shots to the body as well. But also, just clinch up and look for knees to the body. I think that's your best opportunity on the feet, in my opinion. For Oleksiejczuk, look to get that outside foot, and then that provides the opening for the 2 to the body. Just work the body in general. I've seen Modestas slow down a bit before. He has fought like 5 rounds, I'm pretty sure, or he's been scheduled or whatever. But I think I've seen him slow down within 15 minutes before with a heavy pace, especially the pace that Oleksiejczuk's going to put on you. But also, yeah, look for that single leg in the open, high single. Look to take him down, get some top control. But also, yeah, if Modestas is going to be throwing just naked kicks, look to counter them with a left overhand or a left straight. So how I see this one going. So Oleksiejczuk, he's had a few issues in the grappling department in his recent fights. I don't think that's going to be a worry in this one. I don't think Modestas is going to go for that. I think he's going to stand and bang with him, which is pretty much what he wants. I think Michal's pressure is going to give Modestas trouble, as Modestas likes space to maneuver and for the techniques that he likes to use. I think, Oleksiejczuk could even go to his grappling in this one, where he could also have a lot of success. He just needs to pace himself, as, Modestas isn't a high volume striker in the first place, so you can pace yourself, don't have to gas yourself out in the first round, like you did in the OSP fight. I just see, Michal catching Bukauskas with a overhand right an overhand left or a straight left, and just finishing Modestas probably in the first round. I think he's going to catch him pretty quickly. Alright, let's look at the betting lines. Alright, so they got Michal at about a 65. About 60% favorite. I believe that is about correct. Maybe a little bit more, in my opinion, for Michal. But I'm waiting for the line to go down a little bit, maybe for Michal, maybe like $1.75, $1.80 before I start betting him. But I do think he wins this quite easily.